The campus sprawled out in the dimming light, a Catholic school surrounded by fields and dense clusters of trees. The old buildings stood in silence, their long corridors empty, and faint streetlights flickered as if trying to ward off the approaching dark. Only the distant murmur of the forest broke the silence, casting an eerie calm across the grounds. Hidden just beyond the trees lay an old graveyard on a hill, overlooking the ocean far below. The worn tombstones, blanketed in mist, seemed almost forgotten, a place of secrets, where the weight of history pressed down like a shroud. The shadows lengthened across the grave markers, whispering of things best left undisturbed. The school's hallways stretched on in silence, empty and dimly lit. The flickering lights cast long, twisting shadows that danced along the walls, making the lockers and doors seem alive. It was a place meant to be busy and full of voices. But now, every step echoed with an unsettling hollowness, as if someone or something was listening from the shadows. At the far end of the school grounds sat the preschool building, isolated and quiet. As darkness began to settle, it looked lonely, separated by a stretch of field that seemed to swallow any sound. In the dim light, the building felt like it belonged to a different world, detached from the safety of the main campus, surrounded by nothing but shadows. As they crossed the darkened field, the teenager guided a cheerful young girl, her small face lit by the glow of a phone. The girl's chatter filled the empty space, unaware of the dark stretching all around them. The teenager's eyes flickered toward the distant buildings, every nerve tense, sensing something hidden in the vast expanse. Suddenly, the teenager stopped, staring up at the distant top floor of the school building. There, moving slowly along the balcony, was a shadow, a tall, shifting figure, its shape ghostly and distorted as it glided past the dim lights. It seemed to float along the edge before vanishing through a door, leaving only a memory of its haunting form. Frozen in shock, the teenager's face went pale, eyes wide as they tried to process what they'd just seen. The little girl, oblivious, continued walking, tugging at the teen's hand. But the teenager couldn't shake the feeling that the shadow had been watching them. With a glance at the child, they hurried forward, their heart racing. Their pace quickened as they crossed the field, the darkness pressing in with every step. The teenager tried to keep calm for the girl's sake, but the feeling of being watched was overwhelming. The vast, empty field felt suffocating, and every shadow seemed alive, as if something was lurking, waiting to emerge. Finally, they stepped into the bright, bustling hallway, surrounded by students and parents chatting and laughing. The teenager took a deep breath, grounding themselves in the warmth and noise, safe from the dark field outside. Yet, they couldn't shake the feeling, casting one last glance over their shoulder, haunted by what they'd seen. As they rushed back across the empty field alone, the teenager felt the dark pressing in from all sides. Their quick breaths broke the silence, their footsteps echoing as they sprinted through the empty space. The buildings behind them faded, and the shadows seemed to reach out, pulling them towards something unknown, something unseen. Safely back in the brightly lit preschool room, the teenager's heart still raced. The cheerful colors and warm light clashed with the fear that lingered from outside. The children played around them, oblivious, but the teen couldn't shake the chill that clung to them. They kept glancing out the window, as if expecting to see that shadow again, lurking somewhere in the night. In the fading twilight, the schoolyard lay quiet, its dark windows casting deep, unreadable shadows. The empty field stretched to the graveyard in the distance, and the buildings stood silent, guarding their secrets. The teenagers' thoughts lingered on the shadowy figure, questioning if this place held more than just memories, wondering if they'd glimpsed a haunting that would never truly leave them.